The following contest is a second-round match in the Kings of Consoles tournament to determine the greatest game in the history of the Nintendo Entertainment System. 2 games enter, only one can advance. Introducing first, the 47th seed, a 1991 action game from Icom, Vice, Project, Doom! And its opponent, the 18th seed, a 1988 platformer from Nintendo, Super Mario Brothers 2! Your ringside judges are Ricky Giraldo and Pat Dooley. There's nothing left to say but round 2, fight! Hello and welcome to episode 52 of Kings of Consoles. This is the podcast where we're trying to find the best game for each home video game console by means of giant tournaments. Today is a second round matchup as the number 18 seed in our bracket, Super Mario Brothers 2, takes on number 47 Vice Project Doom as Super MARCHIO rolls on. I'm Pat Dooley.
I'm Ricky Giraldo.
And yeah, so last week, Super Mario Brothers, not super surprisingly, knocked Kung Fu out of the bracket. So it will move on to face the winner between Mega Man and Star Tropics. And now Mario 2 is going to hope to continue that winning streak. But we do always start by talking about the underdog, which in this case is number 47 Vice Project Doom, which is a 1991 multi-genre action game from Icom. We played it not that long ago. It was episode 34 when it beat Power Blade back in round 1. So it's only been 18 weeks since the last time we played it. It's been an NFL season since the last time we played Vice Project Doom. Did your opinion of it change at all over those few months?
It's a pretty game.
It is.
I think I realized, it's pretty awesome, the graphics and the cutscenes. I think I said this about the first time we played it, but it's really good in that department.
Yeah, because I feel like we made a comparison of it to like the Ninja Gaiden games with those like the not really cutscenes, but like the still images that kind of move and the text. That those are really effectively done in this. The level designs are good. There's a variety of weapons that all are, unique. They're not just like reskinned versions of the same thing. It's a good game. But
here's the thing. It's a good game, but there's nothing that catches you. I was not the story was meh. The characters were meh. Mm-hmm. That's what this game is.
Yeah.
Meh. It's
fine.
Exactly.
It's fine. It plays well. It's hard in the way that, NES games are hard.
Yeah, it is hard.
But I mean, credit to, the fact that it starts off with a driving level, then turns into a side-scrolling platformer, and then the level 4 boss is a first-person shooter. There's a lot of variety to the gameplay. It's interesting, but it's really forgettable. To the point where I remember that the game started with a driving level, but when I started playing it, and you can go back and watch the stream on our Twitch channel, watch me playing that and being like, wait, I don't remember this. I remember that there was a driving level, but I don't remember this being the driving level.
True.
To the point where it was really when I got into the first side-scrolling level, I was like, oh, right, I've got that blue whip thing, and the enemies that look like the Legion of Doom are gimps.
And there's wizards, and this is weird. This is weird. But I also did forget that the game starts with Grand Theft Auto style, or Spy Hunter. You're just you're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
It's I mean, they had amazing ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet at the time I would have been like, this game is amazing.
Oh yeah.
There's
Yeah, in
nothing like it.
1991. Yeah, that's I mean, and also I mean like even like the music is pretty dope. Like it's not, iconic like the
Yeah.
Mario games, but it's got good music. It's a good game. It's just it's, it's
Just
unremarkable. It's
yeah, it does nothing.
I feel like 47 is an appropriate rank for it because it's like right in the middle of the list of games we've played. It's it's better than a lot, but it's also not as good as a lot. Let's see, what other notes do I have on this one? Oh, it didn't take me 23 tries to beat the boss at the end of 3-2 like it did last time.
Oh, that's good.
So I did make it farther this time than I did last time, which is nice. All caps note Velociraptor hands, because I had forgotten about that part of that first cutscene where you blow up the car and then you go and check it out and like there's a claw hanging out of the door. I like that game overs only take you back to the beginning of the stage you were on.
Yep. Thank God.
Yeah.
Because I would have not made it as far as I did for sure.
Yep. Same.
I would have been like, well, I made it to this and this. 1-1. But yeah, the game is definitely in the higher tier of NES games just because I think it came out late in the 1991.
Yeah, it's the same year the Super Nintendo launched, so it's getting close to the end of the life cycle. So
yeah, you can definitely tell. There's more technology was figured out. And,
yeah.
Because sometimes it does look like an NES game. It really does.
Yeah. Totally. Well, on the other side of the bracket is our number 18 seed, Super Mario Brothers 2, which is a 1988 platformer from Nintendo. We, of course, played the American version of Super Mario 2. The Japanese version, the actual first Super Mario Brothers 2, was later released stateside as Super Mario The Lost Levels as part of the Super Mario All-Stars compilation for Super Nintendo, but it was deemed too difficult for the global release. So instead, they took an existing game that had been made as an advertising tie-in for an event called Yume Kojo 87, which means Dream Factory 87, called Doki Doki Panic. They just reskinned the characters in that to turn it into a Mario game. The entire game takes place in Mario's dreams as he, his brother, his girlfriend, and her sidekick battle through the world of Subcon to take on the villainous King Wart. It is the fourth highest selling NES game ever, behind Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt, which is sort of unfair because those both came with the system, and Super Mario Brothers 3. Nintendo Power called it the 8th best NES game. Games Radar has it 6th on their list. And of course, IGN has it at number 18, which is where the seed in our tournament comes from. So the first really notable thing about Super Mario Brothers 2 is it is not like any other Mario game, which, knowing that about Doki Doki Panic, it just doesn't feel Mario-y to me. Other than it's got Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach.
I agree. Yeah, it didn't feel like 1 or 3.
Yeah.
Like at all. Like it's not as fast.
Or World or Land or Galaxy or Sunshine or 64 or Odyssey.
Yeah, it's a weird. And the art is different. And you can tell playing this and knowing what we know now, like you can tell this was made to be a different game. To be a different game, but the popularity of Mario, they were like, yeah, we gotta make another one. And they just didn't have that in the works.
Yep.
So honestly, I think 3 is technically our 2.
Pretty much. Yeah. And I mean, that's not to say it's a bad game. It just doesn't, coming off of like Super Mario Brothers, like that's such a distinctive, the sound and the look and the gameplay of it, and this just doesn't have any of that. It's just an entirely new game, just with Mario branding. slapped on it. There's no Goombas, there's no Koopa Troopas, there's no Piranha Plants, Spinies, Licky-Doos, Buzzy Beetles, no Bowser.
Yeah, there is I guess they're not flying fish. They're like flying ghost spaces
Mhm.
things.
Yeah. Really, the only characters from this game that ever come back are the Shy Guys and Birdo.
Right.
And it was probably as an appropriate a time as any to bring this up. I was talking to you earlier about how I kind of went down a Wikipedia wormhole, rabbit hole's the expression, when I was doing some research for this episode, because I had a vague recollection of when the game came out and reading the instruction manual, which led me to Google something I never thought I would Google, which is Birdo trans? Which, as it turns out, kinda. I'm going to read, this is directly from Wikipedia. It's worded well, so I didn't want to run the risk of butchering it by trying to reword it myself. So this is directly from Wikipedia. Birdo has been the subject of discussion relating to her gender identity and has been regarded as transgender. She's become a trans icon due to her gender identity. She's been credited as an early transgender character in video games. The manual excerpt from Super Mario Bros. 2 about Birdo's gender did not receive attention until sometime after the game's release. Oh, I didn't include this, unfortunately. The manual, it's definitely not modern friendly. It's basically that it played for a joke in the manual. Writer Lorenzo Fantoni suggested that this was because few people read the manual or because no one cared about Birdo's gender at the time. Fantoni also suggests that Nintendo does not know what to do with Birdo and that changes to Birdo's character have been made to match present-day morals. Author Sam Greer was critical of Birdo's portrayal, stating that her gender had become a running joke and was the subject of much derision and stereotyping. Paste Magazine's Jennifer Uncle criticized Birdo as a characterized trans person as an example of Nintendo's poor handling of gender identity in general. But then here's where it gets a little interesting. It is speculated by Wired's Chris Kohler that the gender issue was retconned to make her a cisgender female, while video game developer Jennifer Diane Wrights suggests that she may have undergone gender reassignment surgery. Writer Andrew Webster of The Escapist used the history of Birdo in the lead into his article, commenting on the changes Nintendo has made to hide Birdo's gender status. So I just thought that was cool that there's a whole discussion happening about this character from Super Mario Brothers 2. I mean, it's dumb that people are angry about it, but it is kind of cool that the trans community has kind of adopted her as a sort of an early gaming trans icon. I mean, there's a trans character in Last of Us 2, which that the treatment of trans characters since 1988 to now has changed significantly.
Yeah, for sure.
But I just thought it was interesting that Nintendo was being a little woke in 1988 by I mean they made fun of it. It was the butt of a joke, but
yeah, I don't think they were woke. I think they just tried to make it a joke.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. Was Yoshi in this? Is Yoshi in
Yoshi doesn't show up until Super Mario World.
Okay, so
Super Nintendo.
That's interesting that
Birdo predates Yoshi by about 3 years.
Huh. All right.
Yeah. So back to the game itself, I talk about how it really doesn't have anything to do with Mario in terms of the characters. Also, the gameplay mechanics are all different. You don't get mushrooms to build your health. You get hearts, although there are mushrooms to add to your health gauge, which is different because you don't usually have a health gauge. It's usually 2 hits and you're done. There's no question blocks. Instead, you're pulling up vegetables and potions out of the ground. You go down into ornamental vases rather than pipes. You pick up enemies instead of jumping on them. It's just very, very different from any other Mario property that we're familiar with.
It's just this wasn't supposed to be a Mario game. That's all. That's basically what it is. Yeah, we get to play Luigi for the first time. Yeah, you get to, there's more Toad and Peach, but this game just didn't feel like a Mario game. It was not what I was expecting. This was the first time I played it.
Oh, really?
Funnily enough, yeah.
Interesting.
I haven't played the second one.
So, how was your first 2-hour experience with it?
It was all right. I guess.
Yeah.
Do you want to go how far we went?
Well, I've got a couple more notes, but it's nothing major. I just I made a note like, why does the level where you're like running on the backs of whales? Why is it that I can ride on top of the spout but not run into the side of it? The yay warp zone warps to ice level 4-1. Boo warp zone.
Oh my god!
Because the
freaking ice level
takes you right to the ice level, which is then followed by a desert level, which is another level trope I don't like. I did note that the insides of the vases that you get into kind of remind me of the holes you fall in ET. Obviously, they're better, but it's similar. Oh, and I did finally figure out for about a year now on the podcast. This is our 52nd episode. I've had that problem where when I get hit, my character disappears, right? I brought this up on a couple episodes, and it's not something that you've been experiencing. I think I figured out what's happening. Because
that happened to me in the first game. In
Vice?
Yeah, when you get hit and then you disappear.
Yeah.
And I kind of use that to my advantage.
I kept falling off of ledges when I would get hit because I would lose track of where I was on the screen.
No. So if you get hit, you could, like, let's say that's how I died. Like in the first game, that's how I escaped a lot of what are the guys who throw the tomahawks? Or I get hit by one and then I just skip them all. And
that works.
That's like one way to do it. Yeah.
But for me, it's been happening in a lot of games. And I finally figured out, because in Mario 2, how you can like squat down to charge up your jump and then jump higher.
Yeah.
And how when you're squatting down and building up the power, you start flashing really fast.
Yep.
I wasn't flashing. I would either be just normal or I would be solid, like lit up, which is how I realized that for some reason my emulator is dropping frames.
Oh.
So in a lot of games, when you get hit, you like blink in and out for a couple of frames, right? If you time it wrong and you get hit and it's the frame that drops, you just disappear, because rather than blinking in and out, you're just blinking out. So I need to figure out a way to go in and probably just need to change the frame rate on the Xbox I'm running this off of, which I'm hoping is an option in the menu for the emulator program I'm running, because it's taken me over half the tournament to figure that out, but I only figured it out because I knew I'd played Super Mario Brothers 2 enough to know that I should be flashing right now, and I'm not. So then I figured out I must be missing the frames in between the solid and the lit up. Peach is the best, Luigi's the worst was another note I made.
Really? I had good success with Luigi.
Luigi was too... It's funny, I'm going to use the exact word my mom uses to describe Luigi. He feels too flighty to me. Like
flighty. What?
I don't feel like he he feels like he slides too much.
Right.
Like I don't feel like I can platform as exactly with him as I can with other people.
But you know what's funny? That's why I liked him, because he felt the closest to Super Mario World, or the first one, because of his slide.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's what I felt. That's how I was able to go faster, because I thought Mario was too slow for me. I was like, I can't. And then Toad, I was like,
Yeah. I mean, Mario and Toad
No.
are basically the same.
Yeah.
But I liked Peach because I liked being able to hover.
Yeah, she could hover.
That got me out of a few jams, being able to make longer jumps because I could just kind of hang in the air.
Yeah,
also
so
helped
I
me,
pretty
like,
much I rock with Luigi almost the whole game.
nice.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
funny though.
I think that's the last of my notes. So yeah, let's find out who made it farther.
Who made it farther? Who made it farther?
Vice Project Doom. I mentioned earlier that boss at 3-2 that took me 23 tries to beat last time around, I was able to get through. It probably still took me 6 or 7 tries, but that's significantly better than 23. So I actually made it all the way to the boss at the end of 6-3.
Oh, it's so close, dude. I beat the boss. I made it to stage 7-1.
Ah!
The freaking moving train. I was like, you're so close.
Yeah, I got beat by the like flying robot thing with the ladders shooting missiles.
It was hard.
Yeah,
it was real hard. That's why I was saying, like, when you told me, or when we don't have to start all over again, I was like,
oh
thank
yeah.
God.
I probably would have maxed out at like level 4 if that had been the case.
Yep. Which I'm pretty sure that's where we made it last time. We didn't make it far last.
No, because I for sure didn't, because it took me so long. It took me like 45 minutes out of the hour just to beat that boss at the end of 3. So I was very grateful to make it much farther this time, but not enough to beat you. So how about Mario Brothers 2?
All right, man. How far did you make it? I'll tell you where I made it 4-3.
Ooh, I made it to 6-1.
Yeah, I'm so happy. Nice. Damn, there's 6-1.
6-1. Yeah, there's a 6-1. There's a really tough Birdo fight, because you fight Birdo a lot, but there's a green Birdo in 6-1.
Yeah, Birdo's like the boss of this game.
Yeah. The final boss is Wart, but yeah, Birdo. This was at least my 3rd or 4th fight against Birdo.
I got a question, if you know it. When does Wario come in? I know it's after 3, but
Wario shows up in, I think it's the 2nd Game Boy Mario, Super Mario Land 2. I never played
a game where he's like the main villain.
He first appeared in the 1992 Game Boy game Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins as the main antagonist and final boss. His name is a portmanteau of Mario's name and the Japanese word warui, meaning bad. So he is literally bad Mario.
He's bad Mario.
So yeah, nice. So I mean, that doesn't do anything for me other than,
hey man, you never know.
Your lead. It's 47-41 now, so getting there. You're probably going to be the first to 50, which is wild that we've played enough to. It's wild. Episode 52 means we've been doing this a year.
Yeah, we're almost there, man.
Yeah,
we're almost there.
I mean, this episode is coming out on the 11th of March, and our first episode was March 19th last year.
That's crazy.
So next week is basically our 1-year anniversary of the show launching. It'll be 364 days since the first episode came out. Just wild. And hey, next week, maybe the greatest game ever made. Super Mario Brothers 3 against Iron Sword Wizards and Warriors 2.
We could be playing the best game.
It's the number 1 seed. But I guess first we need to find out which one of these games wins. The winner will face River City Ransom in round 3.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's be honest. One of these games is going to lose to River City Ransom in round 3. Like
maybe. No, yeah.
I mean,
Probably.
yeah,
But you never know.
You never know. Maybe we're burned out on River City Ransom.
And it is Marchio. So
It is Marchio.
Hey man, listen, I got burned out with Dragon Quest games last month. So
That's true.
to the point where, you know, we did get an upset. So
that is valid.
Burnout is a thing. It's our own fault.
Yes. So what are you thinking this week? You thinking Mario goes 2 for 2 this month, or does Vice pull off the upset?
I'm gonna go with Mario too.
I am too. It's not a ringing endorsement because Vice is a really solid game. It is. It's not great, but it's a good game. It's really well made. And this is really, Mario 2 is a step back from the first one. And then what it does in 3 like just blows this out of the water.
Right.
But it's still fun. It's, you know, it's really, yeah, it's the better game overall. So yeah, I'm going Mario 2 as well.
Yeah, I agree. Oh man, it's just, this game doesn't feel like a Mario game, and honestly, it is probably going to lose the next time we see it. But it has more substance than the other game.
I would totally agree with that.
So
totally agree with that. So yeah, I mean, I guess before we wrap things up, we should take a look at listener feedback, which our old pal Rhino reached out again, asking which cartoon series would make a really cool or really silly fighting game. I guess sort of jumping on the back of we're playing Mario games this month, so we're in Super Smash Brothers territory. Like what franchise would make a cool or silly fighting game?
Cool fighting game, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Ooh, that would be very cool.
I don't know how there hasn't been one yet, but go with that. A silly one.
Well, that's a really good idea.
Yeah. Probably a Looney Tunes fighting game.
Oh, that would be very silly.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds fun. Yeah, you could it'd be sort of like Injustice, but cartoony. So like your big finisher, like Wile E. Coyote calls in like an Acme drone strike, or an anvil falling off a cliff.
Daffy goes so crazy, he like controls you, or he like makes you confused.
Yeah, I like
Bugs
that a
Bunny.
lot.
Yeah, Bugs Bunny's like your Ryu.
Yeah.
And he could do the get over here with his ears. He just get over here. I don't know. I think something like that, Looney Tunes fighting game, would be pretty cool.
I like that a lot. Because they did a lot of, they did like a Looney Tunes basketball. They did a few Looney Tunes games, but they never did a fighting game. There was there was a Ninja Turtles fighting game. There was a Power Rangers fighting game. Several franchises had fighting games in the 90s trying to capitalize on the Street Fighter.
Power Rangers has a game now. Yeah.
Yeah, true. Man.
Yeah, what do you got? I named mine too.
I think, and this is sort of cheap but I'm going to say Simpsons would make for a really silly fighting game. You've got a massive roster of characters, kind of animated in the same style as the arcade game. But I'd also be worried. Do you remember Simpsons Wrestling? Which was, I think, a PS2 game. Might have been PS1.
I think it was a PS2, yeah.
That game was awful. That was a terrible game.
I mean, dude, I think there was only one good Simpsons game. It's Hit and Run.
Yeah, console, because the arcade game was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Hit and Run. Right. Hit and Run is great.
Yeah, because it's basically a Grand Theft Auto Simpsons game. Like, you can't.
There was also one, that was like a Crazy Taxi knockoff.
Oh, was
Road
that
Rage.
Road? Yeah, that was good too.
That was good too.
Yeah.
Those like GameCube era games were good, but yeah, other than that, but yeah, like the NES games were awful, like Bart versus the Space Mutants and whatever.
Is that the one where he was the superhero?
Yeah, Bartman versus Radioactive Man. And then there was like Virtual Bart for Super Nintendo. Yeah, there's just been a lot of bad Simpsons games. Wasn't there a Simpsons skateboarding game?
Probably, man. Where was that?
And then
what would be your serious game?
My serious game, I badly want to steal your idea of Avatar, just because that would just be really, really, really cool.
Hey, you're the one that got me into Avatar way back in the day.
That's true. That's true. And Malia's the one that got me into it.
Yeah.
I think you could make something really cool. It would be a little cheesy, but I think you could do something cool with Thundercats.
Oh my God. Please. Dude, I've been watching it recently because they're on Hulu.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
I've been watching the remake, not the original, the newly Cartoon Network one. I'm so sad that show got canceled. That show, magnificent, like so good, man.
I haven't watched it yet, the new one.
You have to. You guys have to.
I'm so far behind on my remakes of classic shows. I don't think I finished Animaniacs, which was great.
Oh, I have to see that. Yeah,
I haven't finished She-Ra. I need to watch the new Thundercats. But yeah,
She-Ra is awesome. Did you watch Voltron?
Nope.
Oh, dude, what? Come on, the guys who made after.
Like I said, I'm so behind on this. I still haven't watched the Castlevania
Voltron
anime.
Amazing. I don't know how Voltron's that good, or She-Ra. Like these shows are just way beyond their predecessors. Like so good. I recommend it. You guys gotta watch the new Thundercats and get sad with me. You have to watch. You have to watch Voltron and She-Ra on Netflix. And I'm going to throw one more show out that you have to watch. It doesn't involve old things, but if you haven't watched Young Justice for DC, you're missing out.
So good.
You guys are missing out on some great cartoons.
HBO Max has all of that. Young Justice, Justice League Unlimited.
They have the Green Lantern series. That's great. Oh.
The Batman the Animated Series, the Superman cartoon from the 90s that gets overlooked a lot because Batman was also out at the same time. But that's like
the Superman was the best.
For me, that's like the version of Superman. Like that's people that like got what that character is.
Going on a little tangent, and sorry we're delaying it more, I guess. But did you watch the Superman and Lois?
I haven't. I've seen a couple of clips that looked fun, but I haven't actually watched the show yet.
Dude, it's a show.
Yeah,
it was good, man. It was good. And if people wonder, like, it's a CW show, it's really nothing like Arrow or Flash. Like it looks like a Disney Plus budget. Like,
nice.
I mean, they had to. You had to go big,
right?
And it feels like they did. It really feels like, you know what? We finally got our hands on the Trinity.
Right.
So we have to go big.
Yeah.
And they did, because Superman has some scenes where I'm like, how is this TV? How is this TV? Like, what?
I love that clip that was going around, like right when the premiere happened, of him setting the car down, like the Action Comics #1, and then picking up the cap and giving it to the kid, and the kid's like, "Thanks,
cool costume,
cool, cool costume." He's like, "Thanks, my mom made it for me." And it takes off flying. It's like, yes, that's Superman. That is him. None of this Zack Snyder dark and gritty nonsense. Like, I mean, there's a place for that, but like that's not why people like Superman is supposed to be aspirational. Like he is the best of us. He's what,
Yeah,
why he and Batman don't like each other.
Yeah, and Scott Snyder he kind of took that inspiration thing to a different level and made him like a Jesus thing, like a religious.
Yeah.
Just like, come on, man, that's not. I like Henry Cavill as Superman. I think
I thought he was very good.
Terrible Clark Kent, but I mean Superman. He's fantastic as Superman. I mean, but I think Clark Kent. I mean, let's face it, he does not. I don't know.
Yeah.
And again, it's the things he has to work with. So I can't say he was a bad Clark Kent because really,
right, he was having to work with what Snyder was giving him.
Exactly. So, but it's funny because I'm one of the few people like I do enjoy Man of Steel. I mean I know the problems of the movie. I know why people hate the movie. But there's something about that movie I really like. At first, I like the score. I think the score is excellent. The score of that movie is amazing. And I also like the trailer. Do you remember the first trailer for this?
Sort of.
Where he launches himself.
Yes.
And he flies upward, and you see like the wind breaking.
The wind shear.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, that's how you make a trailer, man.
Yeah.
And I'm a guy who, if the movie gets definitely more points if the trailer's great. So I'm scared. Like, I think the Mortal Kombat trailer that we just got, 10 out of 10. So now if the movie is like a 7, I might bump it to 8 because at least it had a cool trailer. I know it's stupid, but that's just me.
I'm hoping Mortal Kombat is good. I'm hoping that Detective Pikachu and Sonic have shown that it is possible to make good video game movies. They don't have to be the Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo Super Mario Brothers, or the Mark Dacascos Scott Wolf Double Dragon, or
or Dead or
Alive, Resident Evil.
Was it Chun-Li? Legend of Chun-Li?
Yes. Yeah, I mean the Jean-Claude Van Damme Street Fighter, the first two Mortal Kombats.
The first Mortal Kombat movie is considered the best video game movie. Yeah, but at the same time, it's not a good movie.
Right? Yeah, it's stupid fun. It's just
that's all I want with this movie. It's stupid fun, and just give me the theme. Just give me the theme like the trailer did. That's all we want.
That's what Mortal Kombat is. Like, it's
right.
Like, I feel like the makers of the franchise finally get the joke now. Like, the last few games have been like, oh no, this is why people like Mortal Kombat, not because of the dark mythology and all of that. They just want big dumb action with lots of blood and give us a story. But I feel like from
that's the thing, like
Mortal Kombat 5 to 8 were all a little self-important, but then the last couple have been like, oh yeah, no, this is objectively stupid. Like, this is a ninja that's also a lizard that can vomit acid on people. And to the point where they're like, you know what? Let's just bring in the Terminator. These guys can fight Jason. Whatever. Let's throw any action star in here because why not? That's what this franchise is, and they've kind of embraced that. So I'm hoping the movie does that too.
Yeah, and the Mortal Kombat franchise, like the story and the games have been pretty good, man. If you had been playing them, it's like okay. I have hope, but we'll see.
We shall see. And I guess we shall see you guys next week.
Super Mario 2 advances.
That's right. So 2 for 2 for Mario. Next week, it's probably going to be 3 for 3 when Super Marchio rolls on as Mario 3 takes on Iron Sword, the number 64 seed. You can see the full bracket, which does have Super Mario Brothers 3 right at the top because it's the number 1 seed. You can see the whole thing at challenge.com/Kings of Consoles. You can throw a little money our way if you want at ko-fi.com/Kings of Consoles. You can watch me stream these games, twitch.tv/Kings of Consoles. Follow us on social media. We're at facebook.com/Kings of Consoles. We are at Kings of Consoles on Twitter. I'm at Loopy Date.
I'm at Ricky G and 7.
You can shoot us an email at kingsofconsolespod@gmail.com. That's how email works. And I always forget to mention this, but if you're liking the show, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever program you're using to listen. That does help. We show up higher in search results if we have more positive reviews. So
please
rate, subscribe, review. We appreciate it, and we appreciate you guys. And until next week, Marchio rolls on and play old games.
Play old games, everyone.
Kings of Consoles is recorded in Nashville and Orlando and is produced and edited by me, Ed Dooley. Thanks to Captain Portal for our theme song, intro for a non-existent video game, which can be found at freemusicarchive.org. And the music and sound effects from this week's games can be found with a quick Google search. The opinions expressed in this and every episode are our own, and we are in no way sponsored by or affiliated with Nintendo. We're just big fans.